Good morning, Ludivine.
Good morning, Jean-David.
1 month after harvest, 1 month before the auction.
Yeah.
Good timing to speak with you.
Just in the middle.
Pleasure. Thank you for welcoming Albert Bichot in your
welcome.
beautiful cellar. Let's start with just a few words about vintage 23, a little wrap-up of the vintage.
Yeah, it was a very special vintage, both special but also very strong in identity and very 2023. I think we should already stop to try to compare it, and especially compare it with 2022, because it has nothing to see with it. It's just like being always on the shadow of the oldest in a family, you know. 2023 was very special, unique. We started with a lack of water after the winter time. Then all the vineyards was a little bit stopped and didn't grow up very easily. And then everything was very fast. By the way, from the beginning, we've seen that the crop was very, very high in terms of quantity. So we had a clue at this time. And the disease pressure was also rather high because in the summertime we had storms and we had rain, not that much, but almost every 3 or 2 days. So it was not really convenient to go and to make treatments, for instance, and to work into the vineyards. And by the way, we suffered from a heat wave mid of September at the very end of it. So all these unexpected events made that 2023 was very specific and very useful to be really dedicated and very specific to it.
Okay, so a productive vintage that you had to tame right from the start with green harvesting in the vineyard. Also a lot of sorting in the vinification. So a few words about how you vinified those wines in both colors.
You put a word in which was a very key word for all the decisions that we've taken. First, starting with the intuition that all that crop was too high in quantity to go up to the end properly, we decided to green harvest straight away end of June. And sometimes in some plots we even went twice to do again because it was not enough. So one of the key was to regulate the production, and the other one was to select and to choose the right and the appropriate harvest date.
Okay.
But one is not possible without another. It's just something completely linked, because it was obvious that keeping all the grapes that we previously had wasn't, I would say, convenient for go up to the end and to get to the proper maturity. So we sorted out the grape, and I really thank my team, all the cellar guys, and also the vineyard guys working with me all the year long, because they really respected my intentions to sort out straight away from the vineyards. So here in the winery, we were rather lucky because we received already almost sorted out grape, and we only have to keep caviar, the best ones. I think the grape that we received, just all put together, would have been satisfying most people. But here we decided to sort out again,
just to keep the best,
and to keep the very best. That's why we produced not that high level of quantity than 2022.
You were mentioning to me earlier the fact that for the whites you had to work also on the lees, or how did you adapt your press, very longer press than usual?
The vinification itself was very specific in whites. But just to set up things, we first harvested the Chardonnay. So we were able to focus only on Chardonnay. So we had time to make long pressing processes. We had time to select the lees. We didn't keep that much of them, because after seeing them, tasting them, smelling them, most of them were not good enough to me to be kept. So we only used a few of them. And they were already showing a sort of oxidative risk in the vintage for the Chardonnay. So we protected our crop, we protected the juices, we put them into barrel after a very long process pressing.
Okay.
And for the reds, because we're talking about vinification, once we had sorted out and once into the tank we had this very fabulous crop, it was rather easy to make wine with.
Sure.
But we had to develop different skills and different itineraries in terms of technique, because the feeling that we had, it was like if we had several vintages in one. So we adapted our decisions. For instance, for the Beaune, we were very sunshining wine and very deep in color, strong in tannins. That was a sort of itinerary. And it was another one for the Beaune, for instance, or for the Corton. In Corton, we had more like sort of traditional Burgundian vintage and winemaking approach.
Okay.
Because of the nature of the tannins, because of the level of the acidity, because of the juicy feeling. So we used to take different decisions tank by tank. And I have the feeling that every year I tell that. I'm telling you that. But this year, it was like if we had several vintages in one. So we had to adapt ourselves.
Okay. A consequence of that, we are in the beautiful Hospices de Beaune cellars. You can see lots of barrels. So the final output and what will be put at the auction is exactly 753 barrels.
Exactly true.
So a bit less than last year.
Yeah, but not that less.
But not that less.
Yeah, just also completely logical regarding the effort that we've made and that we assume in the vineyards, in the winemaking, and in the selection of the grape that we use to make great wines.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
just online.
Excellent. Let's make a small focus on some key zones, and let's start with Clos de Nuit, the magical trilogy of Grand Cru, Échezeaux, Mazis-Chambertin, and Clos La Roche. A few words about them.
Yeah. Well, to sum up, I would say that each of them is at the right place. You have Clos La Roche with this normally unusual graphite and a bit cold aspect, very strong tannins, but well balanced. You have more aerated and elegance on the Échezeaux. I think things could change with Échezeaux by the time, but so far, because of the material that we have in the vineyard, this is the kind of Échezeaux we have to produce. If not, it's not balanced. And words are missing for Mazis-Chambertin, because it would be the best in this, the best in that. So a lot of best thing regarding Mazis-Chambertin, which is probably the crossing between all what the Grand Cru could give.
Okay. Few words about Batin-Montrachet.
Yeah, it's just the moment to express how the Chardonnay had a different behavior regarding the same vintage. The point for the Chardonnay was the sanitary state of the crop, not the quantity, especially producing, because Chardonnay is resisting much more in terms of production.
You can produce a bit more.
Yeah, it supports. So the deal was to manage to get up to the end in terms of sanitary state, and we did it. And once you did it this year, it was very easy to make wine with, and this is when Grand Cru just
means something.
Really. It's not some.
It's not the marketing invention.
Oh no! I can tell you,
it's a physical
reality. It's a physical. It's a technical. It's a. The approach is completely the same. We give as much as care doing Batin-Montrachet than Saint-Romain, but things are different by the end. Okay. And it's just due to the Grand Cru.
Let's carry on the small Grand Cru, not that small, but a nice Grand Cru area that you love, Corton, you love Corton. So in both colors, what could you say about Corton Charlemagne first?
Well, we could exactly say the same for Corton Charlemagne in terms of behavior, in terms of skills for the Chardonnay to provide very nice things on this kind of parcel and classification. It was a bit more tricky and difficult for the reds because the crop was so huge in terms of production that we had to green harvest twice, and it was so worthy. And even producing 10 barrels less than last year for the 4 cuvées that we have in Corton, I'm telling you that it was the decision, one of the best decisions. You were asking about one of the best decisions I was probably the most proud of, and this is one of those. Okay. Because now we have the Renard, who is very Renard. You have this elegance and minerality in the Corton Charlotte Dumay with the Bressan. You have these earthy things in the Corton Dr. Pest with the Chaume, and you have all the minerality and the sunshining in the Clos du Roi for Baronne du Bay.
Okay, and a few words for the whites, for the Corton Charlemagne. What would you say?
I would say minerality for the François de Salins, and apricot and roundness and ripe yellow fruit for the Roi Soleil.
For the Roi Soleil.
Which is nothing to see with the name.
Sure. Let's carry on a bit down with the finage, as we say, of Beaune. A huge diversity in Beaune.
Yeah, but I think what we could say is that everyone could be served. We produce 10 different cuvées. And if you look for something a bit stronger, you could go on the Nicolas Rollin. If you want fruity and juicy, you can go on the Guigon de Salins. If you want a mix of these two ones, you could go on Dame Hospitalière. Maybe floral elegance on Beto. Maybe minerality on Rousseau des Landes because of the Montrevenot side. If you really want minerality and salty, you could go on the Sirop Chaudron one because Montrevenot is just above the Clos des Mouches and very famous to this kind of very mineral and rock side of Beaune. So I think Beaune could be one of the best illustrations of what could have been done in 2023. Yeah.
Excellent. Let's go a bit down south with just behind with the Pommard side.
Yeah. You know, I usually not at ease. I used to say that I was not at ease with Pommard when I first started here, but year after year, I have to admit that now I set up a lot of things in this particular area. So Suzanne Chaudron, and Raymond Sirot would be the two playing one on the fruit for Suzanne Chaudron and the other one on the structured and bodied for the Raymond Sirot. Just in the middle you will have Billardet, but a bit different, more on a sort of vegetal approach. Please.
With floral?
Yeah, but please don't translate vegetal like something bad. We need this word in terms of describing wine, and this is not always bad to say vegetal. But it is the way it is. It's a bit more like floral, rose, dried flowers as well. And after that come the two premiers crus with the Epno, earthy, strong, a bit rustic as well. That would need a very high skills in terms of aging. The tannins of coming from the new oak already started to provide something really interesting in the middle of the palate. And if you look for something a bit more round or sweet, but still structured and bodied like a Pommard is expected, could be go on the Dame de la Charité.
Dame de la Charité.
Yeah.
Okay. A little bit down south with a very nice and always sought after Meursault and Meursault Premier Cru.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a bit like in the Côte de Nuit. Every single terroir in Genévrières, Charmes and Poroso is really at its place. You have minerality in Genévrières, roundness and a bit of creamy side on the Charme, and just in between the Poroso.
Okay.
And for the two villages, Lopin and Gouraud, you will have this crispy and juicy side, not that creamy, a bit more energetic and dynamic than what we could suppose for 2023, but very high in terms of fruity.
Okay.
Yeah, playing on fruit.
Okay. And then like a nice scope and diversity in the other villages with Savigny, Pernan, Auxey-Durès and Montly. Savigny was a specific place because here again the three different cuvées could satisfy very different type of style of wine, minerality and elegance and aerated wine for the Forneret because 100% made with Vergelès. And then Girard made with Peuillet and Marconnet, very heavy and earthy and more bodied. And just in between would be Foucran, playing on the fruit side. Okay. And for the other three ones, Montly, Pernan, Auxey, they were more like traditionally Burgundian. We don't have that high degree, the color are not deep there. Yeah, it was easy to extract and it was made with this fruity approach and accessible approach. That could be, by the way, a good ratio between quality and price to get to some maybe more early drinkable wines. Okay. That could be an idea. Good. Saint-Romain?
Saint-Romain, make the link with Pouilly-Fuissé because Saint-Romain it is the one we finished with and Pouilly-Fuissé was the one we started with. Okay. Pouilly-Fuissé will play on the roundness and the fruitiness and already almost too ready. We need to stir the lees. We just tasted the barrel a few days ago and we decided that we're going to stir the lees to feed it. Yeah, and to make it a bit more constructed in the middle of the palate. So it's completely different in Saint-Romain. The sugars are just ending. So we have now a very better approach of what it's going to be. And we will have this density that we expect with a bit of energy and more tight, I would say.
Like Saint-Romain should be.
Like Saint-Romain should be.
Excellent. One of the subjects and issues we're very deeply concerned at Albert Bichot is the respect for the environment, globally speaking.
Yeah.
Very committed for sustainable agriculture and organic agriculture.
Yeah.
This year is the 3rd year of organic conversion for the Hospices de Beaune estate.
Yes, cross
So
finger.
cross fingers, should be certified next year. We will, as you know, we will age the wines following that principle. But can you say a few words about that?
Oh yeah, the first words I could say is that if we manage to get to the point with 2023, that could mean that we are ready. We're ready to take the exam.
The challenges.
Yes, because the sanitary state of the crop could have been bad, but it is also the opportunity to show that we can protect our crop and to produce nice volumes.
It's a key learning that you can balance respect for the environment
and production in an organic way, and cross with 2021, which was also a bit difficult to go through, and it was the first year. So covering 21 to 23 vintages and managing to get to the point in terms of production, it means that I think we're ready.
That's really good. We are standing by a very special barrel, a very nice and special barrel called the presidential barrel, the charity barrel as well. So this year the cause that is, this auction within the auction supports usually 1 or 2 causes. So this year is the cause for well aging. There are a lot of meanings in these words this year for this wine. Can you present the barrel first and maybe what's inside?
Yeah, of course. Well aging is also all included into this barrel because it comes from a very old tree, more than 200 years old. So we're direct to the point, linked to the well aging. And the tree that was, this tree was first used to build and to rebuild the spire of Notre-Dame de Paris. And as the family d'Harcourt, owning of this forest in Sarthe, in the middle of France, they decided to produce a barrel coming from this tree, and they asked the family Barrault in Charente to organize and to set up everything for the oak to be aged and matured. And then they asked to a very local and Burgundian barrel maker, Tonnerie Cadus, and all put together. It's true that now we have this very good example for well aging. Mr. d'Harcourt is 93 years old. The tree is 200 years old.
Combination of care and well aging.
So I think the well aging is really well represented into this only unique barrel. It's unique on the world. It is specific. It is very linked to the point that we want also, because it is charity from the beginning. We were offered this barrel by the Tonnerie Cadus, by the family d'Harcourt and the family Barrault. We were offered to have the opportunity to support, talking about it, the Notre-Dame de Paris restoration program. So we thought it was useful to put to select a very nice wine, and one of the most appropriated was Mazis-Chambertin. Okay. So here below we have Mazis-Chambertin 2023.
The superlative wine that you're mentioning.
The one.
So that's great. Well, we hope to support, as we do very often.
I will look for that.
And this year, that we hope that this very specific barrel will raise as much money as possible for the cause of well aging and the 2 charities chosen this year.
Yeah.
So we'll have a focus on that.
Thank you.
Talking about the future, well aging, what are, in a nutshell, the few ideas or the future of the hospice estate?
Well, the coming soon future could first to be really focusing on replanting. We have a lot of different parcels now that we have to replant. So either this autumn, yes, it's autumn, or the coming spring, and with still a bit of surprise because some of them will change of color. I can't tell you more now, but it's supposed to be. And then we also would like to be involved in different programs that we are just starting to talk about to cover some programs, including all the reflections about making wine in the new weather conditions and climatic conditions. So probably being part of one of those. I don't know exactly which one yet, but that could be something to be really relevant. And we also have very good news in terms of coming donations. Okay. I can't tell you more.
Vineyards,
so new cuvées and new vineyards in the future.
That's exciting.
It's exciting.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Ludivine.
Thank you to you.
1 month before the auction,
yes.
we're ready. We'll be there.
See you on the 19th of November.
And we hope to be with you again.
Yes.
Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.